Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. My name's Tom Novak, and today I'm going to show you what I found at Home Depot. It was half price from $7.99 to $3.99, so I grabbed it. I never seen one of these before, so I figure, what the heck, let's give it a try. It's called a Dwarf, now I'm going to butcher the name, Ixora or Iora, but mainly the scientific name you go by. I mean, some people say cotton Easter, some people say Katona Easter. I grew up saying cotton Easter. Some say potato, some say potato. You know, as long as you get the scientific name right, you're good. Today's July 6th. It's 83 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Celsius. This little bush grows 16 to 24 inches high as well as wide. It likes well-drained acid soil of a pH of 5.0 to 6.0, and it needs full sun. If the soil is more on the alkaline side, you'll get chlorosis, the yellowing of the leaves. Now, it tolerates shade, but if you put it in partial shade, it'll suffer and you won't have that many flowers. The soil mix I'm going to use today, I'm going to use 1 part worm castings, 3 parts peat moss, 1 part repti bark, which is pure fir bark, which is also like an acid-base formula. So let's get this tree out and let's see what we got here. Now, we're not going to do too much with the roots because it's hot out. But let's see if we can find our base. Ooh, that's in there good. So I'm going to have to get my root rake. And just so we can find out where the bottom starts. Because at the nursery they put them in deep, so they last you when you get them. Now, I know this plant indoor needs 50 degrees minimum in the wintertime. And if it's outside, if it gets to 30, take it in right away, because anything 30 and below, it'll die completely. So we got a nice bunch of roots here. So I think this pot here will do the trick. Now, all I'm going to do is not a lot of root work. What I'm going to do is take some of this bottom off and keep the rest intact until spring, because we want this to grow and not suffer as much. Now, I will keep it in the shade for about a good week until it gets used to the repotting. But it's something we have to do, because otherwise it might not fare too good. But that's why I do all my plantings early in the morning or late in the evening, because once I put it outside, the humidity in the air from the night air, especially when it's hot like this and muggy, it'll help the plant to get adjusted. Now, there's a big dead branch over here, but it does have some life on it. So I don't know if it's part of the tree or not, but we're going to get rid of it. And then we're going to take off some of these dead parts. And then I'm going to put it in water and see if I can root it. Let's see if there's any other branches. Here's a branch. You got 2 branches here, which might be good. We want to get a bushy effect. So since we're planting late, we're just going to cut some off so we can see what we got here on the trunk. I know, dip and clip, I forgot. Okay. Get that off. Get that off. It might make good cuttings. I'll try them out. You never know. Now we can either have a straight trunk or a sacrificial branch here to get it to grow this trunk more, but we're not going to put too much on it because we don't want this branch getting thicker than the trunk. So I'm going to dip and clip. And we might have another good cutting. We'll see. So, will this fit in our pot? No, we got to get more roots off. And the roots, the soil's coming off nice. I don't know, this is the type of soil they got. It's like a fine mixture. But I'm going to use the repti bark in there. There we go. Let's get some of the soil out of the way, and let's see what we got here. Will it fit in our pot? Nope, it's still high. We still got to take more off, so don't be afraid. Just do what you can. It's out of season, it's out of season. But I'm going to use the Rootmaker's 002 fertilizer, real light fertilizer, because it's like 4 tablespoons per gallon, so I'm going to use just like a teaspoon per gallon just to get the roots going. I think that might look pretty good. Let's see if it fits in our pot. It'll be up just a little high, so I still got to keep cutting. Okay, let me get my root scissors I had. Here they are. Let me cut some of this root off. Don't be afraid to cut it. The main thing is you got it's used to the heat. It grows down south. But transplanting, now, we got to take our chance. And if you don't try, you don't know. And then we're going to take a little more off the top because we took a lot of the bottom off. Let's see how it fits in our pot. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And we'll just rake some of the roots out so it doesn't stay into the root ball, because once it stays into the root ball, they tend not to go out. And then on the top, we're just going to cut it back because we took so much off. We want this thing to have a chance to recover. Just let your shears go until it hits resistance. Let's go down to here. Take this one. Let's get it back to here. Let's just be drastic and cut it back a little bit more than normal because we want this thing to be able to grow and to take off again. Now in this thing, it's very hard to see where you're cutting, but we got to at least remove 2/3 of the branch. There. Now you can see the flower buds starting to come in. Look at that. It's a shame to cut them off, but hey, we want to save the plant because we took a lot of the root base off. And to see where I'm at on the cuts, I'm going to use the pink lipstick. What's it called? Who cares? As long as I can see where we cut. I just want to get some of these big cuts to seal them. And remember, always add a 45 because the water runs off. If you cut straight, the water goes down. If you cut this way, it tends to run off and doesn't rot your tree. Okay. That seems pretty good. I got a lot of cutting so I can see if this thing will root. I mean, not root. Yeah, root. Okay. Let's try it out. That looks pretty good. So, here's my soil mix. Let me open the box up. Now before I put it in, I still have to take just a little more off because I don't like the way it's going to sit in the pot that way. And we want to get these roots flared out so we get a radial root base. Now I'm not looking for flowers on this. I'm looking for the roots to grow. So shade for, like a semi-shade for a week. I know it tolerates it, but what are you going to do? Okay. This is my soil mix. With the repti bark in there. A little bit of a mess, but that's bonsai. Get a little layer on the bottom here. Now I had some nicus I also added to the mix. So that'll help us out. And for the front of the tree, we'll take this as our front. Nope. Roots dictate this is our front. Well, what are you going to do? Some of them are girdling around. We can't have these things girdling around. We want this to branch out, the roots to branch out and grow. So just cut them off. Whatever you can that are twisting and turning. Another long one that's going around. Make sure you sterilize your scissors again. Cut it, dip and clip. But I don't see no diseases on it. But remember, if you see leaves with diseases on it, you don't know whether you're supposed to throw it in the compost or just junk it. My motto is, when in doubt, throw it out. So, let's get this in. There we go. It's going to fit in there real nice. I use my little cup to start filling it in. Now remember, this is summertime. There's a lot of garage sales, a lot of people selling stuff in the front of the house. Those that don't have garages, and look for yourself for a nice turntable. You get them pretty cheap. This marble one I got at, I think it was TJ Maxx. It was real cheap. I couldn't believe it. So I just grabbed it. It was like under 10 bucks. I says, what the heck? Let's get it, Tom. Okay, let's get a little more on there. Now, I never grew this plant before, so I don't know how it's going to react or anything of that there nature. Now, another thing, through my travels, Home Depot doesn't have a junk section, but Lowe's does. And they got a lot of geraniums half price, $1.99 down to $1. And some of them are pretty good. So you can always try a geranium bonsai. Okay, don't be afraid to use your fingers, get your hands dirty. I mix by hand, so I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. Been doing it as a kid. And I think our trunk is pretty good. It's pretty straight, pretty solid. Let's get that in real good. The reason why I was going to so many places, I was trying to find some unmilled sphagnum moss, the long fiber one. I couldn't find it at all. All sold out. So I had to order it because I want to show you how to do one with sphagnum moss like Brian Batchelder used to do. Okay, let's get a little more soil in. Oh, let's see. Let's water it a little bit. Let's get some of this dirt off. And we'll get our jar here. Get some water in there. Now the cuttings, I'm gonna use this same mixture for the cuttings. The ones that I'm gonna try to root and see what happens. But you can see how nice it's draining. It's a little high, but not to worry. Just going to add a little more soil to it, and then I'm going to put some topsoil that I made, lime-free topsoil for this. There. Got our little wood mixture in there. Or you can just leave the wood mixture on top just the way it is, the bark. Makes it look good. The bark smells pretty good too, the fir bark. Okay, we get our tissue and wipe some of the pot off. There. Now that's your tree. So, if I butcher the name, forgive me, but it's something I never seen, so I wanted to try it out. Now here's my Acid Lovers top dressing. You can see it. And all that is, let's see what I got in here. I got 1 part worm castings, 2 part peat moss, 2 parts sand, and 1 tablespoon of micos. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the top to dress it up. Now it's in the pot pretty good, so you're not going to have to put no sand or anything on it. I mean, not sand, stones. Because we got the root ball pretty well intact. We didn't do a lot of work to it. And for the heat of the days, the long hot nights, the reason why you think the plants are suffering, they're not suffering. It's like almost in a winter dormancy, but in a heat dormancy. And the roots don't have a tendency to grow fast in all this heat. So when you put it in the shade, it gives them a little head start to start growing, and then they take off. That's why when you see people do a landscape, they're expecting all their plants to grow fast. No, they're not going to grow fast because the roots need a chance to grow. And once the roots grow, then your plant will grow. It may look like it's suffering a bit, but you need these roots to grow. They gotta grow. There. Let's put this down so I don't spill it. Let's take this and just to get it wet. And now we got something different here. I got some big maples, well, not super big, but I got maples about 2 years old that I want to do with the unknilled sphagnum moss to try it out. And if my idea works, I'm making a guppy bonsai tank, because I got a willow in my guppy tank, because this one tank, I got all my other waters clear, I do the water changes, and I tried all different kind of filters, and the water stays cloudy, so I got a willow in there, and it's rooting real nice in there, so we might have a willow tree bonsai in a fish tank. So I'll give you an update on that later on. So, not to beat around the bush, let you guys get some rest. The clock on the wall says, well, the clock on the computer says it's almost time, so I don't run out of time and cut us off short. So today's Tuesday night, old time radio night. Get yourself a hot cup of tea, Dragnet, Gangbusters, whatever mystery show you like. Put it on, relax, and have a good evening, everybody. And thank you for coming for our short demonstration on this little Dwarf Ixora or Ixora. And always put the date on the back. And we got that in, and we know. Okay, everybody, take care and have a nice night.